In this body, me destaco. I stand out, part of me wants to, part of me has no choice, because being in a body like this with a voice so loud, I am bound to be seen. Big afro, braids to the waist, brown sugar skin type glow. With smells of a black woman, like cherry blossom and cocoa buttercream, with that she's always trying to grow, she knows who she is, confident ass woman type of flow. But it's not my caramel skin, not my femininity, not really my identity, it's not my curves that keep me from drowning in the swarms of other bodies who conform to society's beliefs. What makes me just most different is mi corazón. My heart is bigger than the average person, not physically, but in the way that I'd suffer till my body, soul, and heart was black and blue, but I'd still say I was fine so you wouldn't worry about me. In the way that even when and if my sadness overwhelmed me to the point of drowning, I'd push it all down to make sure everyone around me was above surface. In the way that I stick up for the underdog, for the lost and broken souls any day, I protect the people who are constantly erased and worn away by a society too selfish to change their ways. In the way that I still have hope and look for the best in people, even after all the racist jokes, at times I have felt alone, even after all the countless ignorant remarks and the way no one speaks up. Doesn't realize their silence is an unspoken act of compliance, like they never learned that being a bystander is almost worse than being the person with a knife to your throat. Every time I experience this ignorance, I want to tell them about how torturous it can be, about how many times I have cried, broke down, and felt like the part of me who had faith in people died. About how many times it hurt so bad I thought my heart would pop out of my chest, like you don't know pain until you can't worry about waking up every day without fearing that your body, your skin, who you are, simply being you in the wrong time and place will be enough to face another fatality by hate. Without the fear of turning on the news, turning on your phone, seeing another text about more brown and black bodies falling to the ground, about more queer bodies falling to the ground, about more bodies of minorities falling to the ground, yet sometimes I wonder why it never makes a sound. Like our souls so empty from others constantly taking what was always ours, depleting the life we constantly have to fight to have, of them not listening, not helping, not speaking up, all the times we have had the knife to our throat that our bodies just fall silently into their graves. But if they did make a sound, it makes me wonder if it would even matter anyway. It makes me wonder if I'm next. Being a biracial, bisexual woman with the tendency to use as my weapon sometimes makes me question if it's something I should expect. I want to tell them that I shouldn't have to wake up every day with a taste of fear, doubt, and sorry in my mouth. I want to tell them the exhaustion they cause because it seems like I could explain my pain in an infinite amount of ways and they could still rephrase my suffering into an excuse for their mistakes. I want to tell them about a little brown girl, about the first time she ever heard the word nigger. It was from a stranger driving by. It slipped from his lips so easily like it was still 1860. She stood in her driveway in disbelief because even at the age of 11, she knew simply being brown made others feel threatened. I want to tell them about how verbal lynchings happen every day. Brown and black kids grow up twice as fast as their innocence is ripped away because we may not be held in chains, but we are still belittled to the role of slave. I want to tell them how brown and black bodies are metaphors for caskets. Our exteriors are every shade of mahogany, beautiful enough to view, but only used to bury the parts of ourselves others kill. Bury who we are because dead or alive, our voice is not heard enough to make the difference. Places where others bury the parts of themselves that no longer hold life, that no longer would hold what is supposed to be human in the first place. But I guess we never learned that being human and becoming it are two separate things. I want to tell them that to have colored skin in this country means to leave the womb with one foot in the so-called land of the free and one in the tomb because we the people never meant everyone. I want to tell them about the slave jokes, about how since first grade I knew I wasn't and would never be the same, about how I've never taken a history class without a glance or joke thrown my way. I want to tell them about how saying all lives matter is so belittling, because no matter how bad we suffer, they want to compete for pain, say how they've had it rougher, say how much they can relate, say how we're leaving them out, but we wouldn't have to say Black Lives Matter if they really did. We wouldn't have to say it if they heard the screams and the shouts of those lives taken so innocently, if they actually cared originally. To them, it's an accident, it's the police doing their jobs, but to us, it's a symbol that brown and black bodies will always be robbed. Be robbed of life, be robbed of rights, be robbed of being seen as equal in their eyes. I want to tell them about how sometimes I wish I did not have to care. Wish I could have the privilege they do in that way. To not have to speak up, to not have to hold back the tears, because sometimes it is so exhausting, constantly trying to prove to other people that I am valid. To prove to them that in this body I am enough. To prove to them that in this body it is so much harder because I can't even say that to them without them making it about them. Because so many people presume that their privilege means that their lack of comfort constitutes their right about silencing me, about fighting my oppression. I have to be compliant, I have to be a laid-back black, non-threatening, like their favorite token black girl, the one who sits there and laughs at their bigoted humor, their racism, their homophobia, their sexism, their ignorance, because they're always making our pain into their joke, our skin tone into their advantage, enslaving us in our own oppression, caging us in our own grief, and every time someone tells me that racism doesn't exist, I laugh in disbelief. Sometimes I just want to scream so loud, I just want to put my hands up and say how tired I am of fighting to make them believe me. Surrender with my white flag in peace, let them know that they've won. They pushed out in silence a little brown queer girl because they couldn't stop speaking for a second, couldn't put a leash on their rabid egos to realize we're supposed to be on the same team. Human. But more so, every time I stumble upon their foolishness, I want to tell them how beautiful black and brown bodies are. How beautiful rainbow bodies are, how beautiful Spanish-speaking bodies are, how beautiful foreign bodies are, how beautiful Muslim and Islamic bodies are, how beautiful Native American bodies are, how beautiful white bodies are, how beautiful disabled bodies are, how beautiful trans and non-binary bodies are, how beautiful we all are. I want to tell them how I know they won't want me to be, but I will be black and happy, I will be queer and happy, I will be a woman and happy. I will be this curvy caramel queer character of a woman who is so strong and so happy in this body that they'll realize that their hate has no power against unwavering love. Because no matter how many times I want to give up and not say anything, I can't and I won't. Because as long as I'm in this body, I will prove them wrong. Thank you.